Hey, everyone, and welcome. Welcome to another episode of the Tim and Jim Show. I'm Tim Sohn with Sohn Social Media Solutions, hanging out here in the woods in Pennsylvania. And Jim, I'm so excited for today's show. Are you, my friend?
I'm very excited, and it's an exciting day. I want to wish a happy 246th birthday to the United States Marine Corps, the only service founded in a bar. So just remember that when you're having a drink somewhere at Tun Tavern in Philadelphia. And
thank you for your service, Jim.
Thank you. And I've got my MARSOC shirt on. I was one of the founding members of the Marine Force's Special Operations Command in Camp Lejeune a long time ago. We won't say how long ago that was. But I'm excited about our guests. Krista and I connected back when we used to have Social Media Marketing World in person, which I think is coming back next year. And she was still actually living, I think, in California at the time. But she's actually coming to us from France, which I haven't been to, but I hear is very pretty. And excited to hear what she's got to teach us today, because she knows quite a bit when it comes to LinkedIn and just business in general.
Yeah, welcome, Krista. Tell us about your story.
Hey, well, thank you, Jim and Tim, for having me on the show. And before I start, I just want to introduce my co-guest here, Miss Ivy, who's eating chocolate ice cream. So, Ivy, do you say hi?
Hi.
And yeah, I actually have lived in California most of my adult life, but I came here for the COVID lockdown. And like a lot of people, I was just displaced, frankly. Like my plans completely shifted due to COVID. And I thought I would come here for about a month, and we had no idea what was actually in store for us. So I thought, oh, this is kind of a nice vacation while things were looking well. Unfortunately, my dad, who I came to be with, ended up getting COVID and dying. And it all happened so quickly that I was like in shell shock. And suddenly I'm dealing with like family matters and also international travel restrictions. And so I just decided to stay here. And in France, it ended up being a better situation than in America, because we didn't have any school closures. So like I had full-time childcare for her here. We're in the mountains, so there were less cases of COVID. So it was easier to be like socially isolated. And I have internet, so the mountain internet is not very good for live streaming. In fact, I'm looking for gaming cards right now to kind of speed it up. But ultimately I've been here now for a year, and we'll probably go back soon. But it's been okay because, you know, I'm French American, so my dad was French, my mom's American, and I have dual citizenship. So for me, it's a year for her to be in a French school, and it's fine. But thank you, Russ. I appreciate that. It's definitely impacted all of us in some way or another, some worse than others, obviously. But ultimately in 2021, things have been a lot better for most people. And so, you know, just sending out all the love to anyone who actually had a loved one like me who lost someone, because sometimes we tend to forget that. So I don't want to make the show a sad show, but I just want to send out a lot of compassion, because sometimes I hear people complaining about, you know, of course, who wants to wear masks and politics and blah, 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 you know, getting a vaccine, being forced to do it. And all I have to say to you guys is be a little bit sensitive when you're talking about those things, because there's one thing to talk about politics. There's another thing when someone may have been a victim or had someone very close to them be a victim to COVID. And so just be a little bit sensitive when you talk, because I've had some real insensitive people say that it was a hoax, or, you know, no one actually died, or no one actually gets sick from it. And so I'm here to tell anyone who's watching your show that no, it was real, and I saw it firsthand, and it was very scary. Okay, so hopefully we're out of the woods now, but that's my story, why I'm in France, and otherwise very happy to get back to California, and hopefully next year, go back to social media world live, because that is one of my favorite events ever. Or Inbound in Boston is another one I love going to. And thank you guys for having me. So I'm excited to talk today a little bit about LinkedIn, and maybe tell you a little bit about my LinkedIn journey. And I have some advice for your audience that has really helped me on LinkedIn. There's a lot of different advice running around, as you know, about what to do on LinkedIn. So I'd love to share my spin on it.
Yes, we will definitely get there, and sending you so much love about, you know, your dad passing, Krista, you know, and sending love out to, you know, everyone who's been affected, you know, through, you know, COVID or not, you know, whatever they're going through. So sending lots of love out. But we want to thank everyone who's tuning in. Garen is here. He says, "What's up, everyone?" Russ Hedge is in the house. Hey, Russ. Russ just celebrated the 1-year anniversary of his book launch the other day, so it was great to be there for that. Congrats, Russ. Gail Robertson is here. Hey, Gail. Thank you. LinkedIn user says hello. Let us know who you are. Those pesky profile, thingamabobbers. Rob with the Drunken Grape is here. Hey, Rob. He says, hey, everyone. Yes, Russ Hedge, today is an awesome day for the Tim and Jim Show. Appreciate you, Rob.
I think Tim froze for a second.
Still operating there.
No, I thought it's my internet. Whenever anyone freezes, it's usually my fault, because my internet is not. There's nothing I can do. I'm surrounded by the tallest mountains in Europe, guys.
It's all good. It's all good. If I drop off, Jim is still here.
Yeah, I'm still here. So Tim is still here too. We just, and that's the beauty of live streaming. We sometimes have these challenges, but it makes it fun, keeps us on.
And Facebook is having some problems today. So guys, if you're trying to watch on Facebook, you're not hearing this right now, but come over to LinkedIn, because we're still streaming over on LinkedIn and Twitter as well as YouTube. So
we'll get the word out. And before we get into talking to Krista about LinkedIn, it was interesting. For those of you that don't know, Tim launched his new show last night. It was amazing on, talking about cancer and getting perspectives from survivors and caregivers. But I was originally going to watch him on Facebook, and then it was like, it just stopped.
I don't know what's going on with LinkedIn, but so thank goodness for multi-streaming.
Must be metaverse at work.
Yes, and thank you, Rosalind, for being here, and Elise in South Africa. But let's dive in. Jim, do you want to take this question for Krista?
Yeah. So, Krista, I know you've done a lot of growth on LinkedIn, but tell us about your LinkedIn journey.
Yeah, I'd love to. So I wasn't active on LinkedIn for the longest time. So like everybody, I created a profile probably in like 2008, 2009. And I was very proud of my 500 followers, right? I had no idea that that was even a thing. So for me, LinkedIn was just a digital Rolodex. It was like a way of keeping track of people I met at conferences. And then it was just an excuse then to move over to email, right? So I really didn't ever see any point in LinkedIn except for job hunters. So my idea was,
Right.
as soon as you start updating your profile, red alert, your boss better watch out. It means you're job hunting.
Right.
So even the people around me were like, uh-oh, he's starting to be active on LinkedIn. What's going on? You know? So like, I never wanted to use LinkedIn that much because, well, I run a business. So for me, it was just connecting with potential clients. But I didn't use LinkedIn at all the way we use it today. And so what happened was I sold my agency shares in 2017 and I was ready for something new. And so the first thing I did was hire a career coach to redo my resume, get me back up to speed. And he said, you need to go to LinkedIn. And I was like, oh yeah, it's true. Yeah. Okay. Now that I'm like, I didn't know if I was going to start a new company again, but I had some restrictions that I signed with my old company that I wasn't going to compete with them right away. So I was like, oh yeah, maybe I should just go to LinkedIn and start, networking again. And what I discovered was shocking. What I discovered was a real social platform. So it was nothing like what I had left. And I saw people right away, like the LinkedIn top voices, they already were doing that. And this was like 2018 when I started becoming really active. And of course, I ended up right away in a pod because I had no idea it was a pod. So people asked me, how could you? How could you? And I'm like, because people were friendly. I just wanted to network with people. They're like, hey, do you want to join our monthly Zoom calls, our networking group? I'm like, sure. And so the first year I did a lot of no-nos that now I teach people not to do. What I did wrong, and I need to say this because this is important of the growth, right?
Yeah.
Was I connected with anybody and everybody. I was like, oh yeah, well, who knows, more exposure. I'm open to everything right now. So I didn't have any criteria. I just pretty much accepted most of the connection requests. And it wasn't until the end of the year when I realized, wait a minute, I know marketing. Why am I doing all these things differently? I have to treat LinkedIn just like I would treat any other marketing tool, right? So the very first thing I did that I changed, and this made all the difference, was I exported my entire database of contacts. So LinkedIn lets you do that. You go to my profile, settings, and there is a way to export all your contacts. And they actually email you. It doesn't happen right away. It takes like a few hours, and they're like, we will email you when this is ready. They send you a file, and it's this huge, massive file. And what I did was I hired someone on Fiverr, inexpensively, obviously, to help me sort through who these people were. And I ended up deleting almost half of everybody. So I lost a lot of followers. But that really helped me because what it did was I set up criteria of who I wanted to connect with. And I called this my LinkedIn connection policy. And of course, that does sound a bit snobby, but trust me, it wasn't meant to be that way. It was meant to add more value to people who legitimately would be interested in the things that I talk about. Because I try to explain this to people now. And I'm like, why would you want someone in your network who absolutely has no interest in anything that you talk about? And the answer is sometimes, well, I'll just talk about anything under the sun. I'll just use it like, here's my dog, here's my what I ate for breakfast. And I said, yeah, but that's going to get old after a while. So I do it too. but I don't do it consistently, right? So the personal is maybe like 20% or 15% of what I post. But like a good 80 to 85% of what I post is marketing, business, and mindset, because I'm a business coach and I'm really interested in those three big buckets of things. So if you're not interested in entrepreneurship, you could care less about marketing. And mindset, you think it's something for, woo-woo stuff, you don't want to listen, you're going to get bored after a while of following me. So my connection request was, I defined really who I wanted to connect with. And I wrote it down and I said, these are like the 4 types of people I want absolutely to find and connect with. And this really helps people, because if you do this, if you define who you want to connect with, then you can tell right away when you get connection requests by the title. And you can say, oh, that person fits the description. And it could be also, one of my criteria is demographics. So I'm an English speaker and I have a few, but I definitely have international people in my connection. I mean, LinkedIn is, how much its percent is international? It's really very, very big international crowd. But yes, I'm not really following people who post in Spanish or Chinese or Hindu. So that was a criteria as well. It was like, if I see that their profile is written in a different language, then probably we're not going to have much to talk about, right? So demographics played a role, interests, and then what they do professionally played a role. And as soon as I did that, immediately my engagement went way up. And I think people are making this mistake because they want to grow for the sake of growth.
Right.
And it's vanity metrics, guys, but it's actually really harming you. I work with clients now who, some of them did this policy. So they have actual big networks, over 10K, 20K followers. They get 5 likes on their posts. And I explained to them, I said, guess what? We might scrap your account. I'm just warning you, because if we can't get your engagement up, it means that the people who are in your network aren't actually at all interested in your posts. And what that tells LinkedIn or any social platform, it tells the algorithm, your stuff isn't that good, because if your friends won't even follow it, then we're not going to boost it anywhere. So the only solution is to stop connecting with everybody and start focusing on people, and even ask people, say, hey, we don't know each other yet, but bless you. But here's what I talk about, would that interest you? Would you want to know about these topics? And I actually put that out front on all my channels. That's another thing that your audience might find interesting, is right up front, let people know, like, hey, I'm a marketer, so I talk a lot about marketing. Or I'm really passionate about live streaming, so I talk a lot about that. Or I'm a podcaster, I talk a lot about podcasting. So if someone says that's really not something that interests me, then you're like, well, let's see. But so I think that's a really important thing for people to understand. And with that said, if you're just chasing vanity metrics and you're posting like, viral posts, you're just like, well, I just want to be popular, so I won't actually talk about any business topics or specific niche topics. I'll just be popular. Okay, so what is that getting you? What is that actually getting you? I know people on LinkedIn who have under 10K followers who are making 8 figures on LinkedIn. And I know people with 1 million followers who are unemployed getting welfare benefits. And the reason is because they're all day online. They're able to be on LinkedIn 24 hours a day, right? They don't have a job, and they're getting some kind of income, unemployment or something. So they've been able to grow really, really big.
Yes.
But you see what I mean? So what is your point of growth? Guys, be mindful about your growth. So not only should you have a LinkedIn connection policy and be really targeted about who are the people who you're trying to reach, who are your people, who is your audience, and then what are you going to serve them? So what topics do you really want to become known for and niche down in? That will really increase the engagement on your posts, which will have a ripple effect of telling the algorithm, wow, this person, people like what they're talking about. So let's keep boosting their posts. So your engagement rate will be a lot higher. But also, ultimately, these people will reach out to you and they'll say, wow, I've loved the live stream. You're so knowledgeable about live streaming. Do you have services? Do you have coaching? Do you have a course? You know, tell me more. Or do you have a community I can join? So when you talk about a niche, you attract the right people, and these people will eventually convert to clients. If you talk about anything under the sun and you attract everyone under the sun, you know, what's your big plan? So having a real plan of what are you trying to achieve on LinkedIn. I like to post regularly the same post. It's called Why Are You on LinkedIn?
Yes.
And I post that every like 6 to 9 months, and it's the same post, but it's such a powerful question. It's like, why are you really here? Are you here because of vanity metrics? Or is it really just a social platform? When I ran polls and I asked that question, over 80% of people said, I'm actually here for business reasons, like either looking for a job or hiring people like a recruiter or a business owner trying to find clients. So people actually do consider LinkedIn a business platform, mostly, even though they're socializing. But if that's the case, isn't it contradictory? If you're trying to find clients, niche down and show people your expertise. And you can't do that unless you have a content strategy. So, and then I'll give you guys a break. But the last thing I want to say about this, because I'm so passionate about this, is you have to have a content strategy. Because if you're in your niche, but you're not adding any value, you're not telling anyone anything new, then sooner or later, I'm not going to be following you as much. I'm not going to be engaging as much on your posts. But if you guys really take the time to prepare value-driven content, that's how I call it. I'll binge watch everything you do. I'll be at your every live. I'll bookmark it. I cannot miss that, because every time I have a post from you, I learn something new. And that's what we really want people to take away from following us, is I've learned something new, and then I start talking about you. Then I'm going out in my community and I'm saying, if you guys really want to follow someone who's so knowledgeable about live streaming, you need to follow Jim and Tim. You need to go on their show, or you need to subscribe to their YouTube channels, whatever. That's what we want in the end.
Yeah, I think you hit on a lot of great points. I mean, I think to your, I get these requests, and I know you do too, Krista, where like, oh, we have a lot of people in common, we should connect. And it's like, no, they want to sell me. They're really not interested in the content. And I think the engagement is another big piece. And I know I've found, and I don't know if you found the same thing, but you have a lot of lurkers. They don't comment, they don't react to your post, but then out of the blue, they'll say, I really like what you've been doing on LinkedIn or your live shows, and now I want to talk to you about doing business. So you really think your point about having a strategy is extremely critical.
Hey, well, let me add to that, piggyback on that. The content is, as a business coach, it's not enough just to keep adding value, because if you want to convert a lurker to a customer, you need to show up with regular offers. And so what you just said, that's the wrong way to sell to people, because I don't know you yet. And who knows where I'm at in the buying process, in the journey. We need to nurture people for a while. They need to lurk. And then they figure out, yeah, I really like this person. I'll subscribe to their channel. I'll sign up for their free masterclass, whatever, so that they continue consuming your content over a period of time. And we have no idea when they're ready, if ever, to buy. But here's the kicker. as a business coach, a lot of people who are building an audience and doing a great job. I mean, they're getting up there, putting out content every week, consistent, really investing care into their content. And they're coming to me as a business coach asking, hey, but how do I get them into, a customer relationship? Like, how should I do that? And here's my thing. You have to also regularly make them some offers. And how do you do it? You don't DM them and say, hey, why don't we hop on a call and you buy something from me? Or why don't you, guess what? I'm so generous. I'm giving away this class that's worth like $15,000, but today I'm giving away for free. I'm like, no, please don't do that. Instead, what you have to do is you have to realize that the more variety you offer, the more you're going to attract different people. So I call it the niche of the niche. So let's say that you talk about live streaming. That's your niche. And so you're coming and you're showing all this great content, but the only service you have is done for you, producer style, monthly retainer, and it's over $3,000 a month. Well, somebody who's brand new to live streaming, who's not even monetizing, not even ready, they're not going to be your client yet, right? So then you have to say, okay, either I'm going to be really clear about my strategy and I'm going to ignore those people. And I'm never going to produce videos ever again related to learning how to launch your live stream. Because if you do, you're going to keep getting those people who don't have the funds, who aren't ready to pay the $3,000 a month. So you're going to have to talk about, are you serious to make money with your live stream? Are you serious to invest and show up and have a real full-blown money-making show? Then you're going to get those people. You see the difference?
Yes.
So, and that's really, really important. And I think a lot of people are missing the mark because we stay in our comfort zone. So we keep kind of talking, I'll just make videos that are popular that a lot of people will come watch. And that's wrong, because if you still want to make those videos like intro to live streaming type videos, and you're still going to attract those people, build a product for them. And what that means is a low-hanging fruit. Build them, a course that's like $4.99, even up to $7.99. I think people nowadays will pay that. But stay in that range where it's not like they have to go ask their wife, where they're signing off a contract that's like a 12-month contract for $3,000 a month, right? So you see what I'm saying? And that's the problem. It's like, if you're going to produce content, be really clear about, conscientious about your niche of the niche, and then make sure that every video you produce has some kind of offer. So whenever I see people, like, they launch a book or they launch a show, I say, so what are you selling from it? Like, and they have to tell me right away, I know exactly, I've got this product, and these are the products for the intro people. These are the product for the done for you services. These are the product for the intermediate group, like a membership site. You see, so sorry guys.
That's okay.
You see where I'm headed though, right? I'm really being, I want you to, the audience has to know that content strategy, if you actually want to make money on LinkedIn, you're going to have to combine it with an exact offer. So if you launch a video and you say, today we're going to talk about everything you need to know about launching a new live stream, have a product ready, have a course ready, and be like, and make a special offer. Say, like, guys, since you're watching this right now, for the next 24 hours, our course that's normally $7.99, we're doing a 24-hour discount code, and it literally expires at midnight tomorrow. So, we're putting it in the chat. So take advantage of the new course. I'm all about, I'm a marketer. So I'm always thinking, but you've got those people, because the people who are going to watch exactly that video, intro to live streaming, are the ones looking for more potentially. And so if you're not going to cap on that, instead you're going to not say anything, not make any offers, or you're going to be like, oh, by the way, we have a done for you service for $3,000 a month for, like, why? You see, you're missing out. So build a product for them, or stop talking to them and stick within one niche and never talk to the other people again. Be like, okay, when you're ready to really monetize on a show, we have this $3,000 a month program for you. Or you see what I mean? But never really clear about what you're doing. Otherwise, you're just showing up and you're missing out on all that.
Those are such great tips, Krista. And we're just going to take a brief 15-second break for a message from our sponsor, StreamYard, and we'll be right back to ask Krista one more question. So don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. And we are back. We are dancing, and we are on the Tim and Jim show here with Krista, and she is providing such value, speaking all about LinkedIn. So, Krista, tell us what's exciting in your world right now before we wrap up the show in a little bit.
Yeah, so I'm always doing a million things, obviously. So one of my happy things is that I got LinkedIn Live this summer in August. And believe it or not, it took me 2 years and over a dozen tries, and I kept getting rejected. And then somebody else who has like no followers and never shows up on LinkedIn gets it like in one try and tells me they're not even using it.
Yeah.
You know, oh, I've had it for like 6 months because, you know, why not? I'm like, have you used it? No, haven't used it. Like, so I'm excited to watch shows like this and learn from the pros what high quality shows should look like, and you know, step by step, baby steps, get kind of set up and get better at live streaming, because it's such an amazing platform to reach people.
Yes.
But besides that, I'm a business coach and I run 2 programs. So I have a one-on-one coaching that is really a full-in monthly program where I work with people one-on-one. So it's really for people who are serious about growing, because it's pretty intense. And then I have a business academy, which is a more affordable price range. And what this is I've put literally together all the materials for the first 2 years of business, like anything, like step by step from like day one, like I don't even have a brand, all the way up to let's build some advanced funnels. Let's run Facebook ads. So when you guys see online always these one-off courses, like let me take a course about, you know, Facebook ads, or let me take a course about this and that. I literally have put together all these materials in there so that a person can go at their own pace. And as long as they're a member, they just have access to these materials, you know, a lot of them which are downloadable so they can keep them forever, even if they leave the academy. But yeah, so that's what I do. And then I've got a lot of workshops. Tomorrow I'm running a 2022 money workshop. Get your goals set, your financial goals set for 2022. So always got a lot of stuff going on, but all remote for now because I'm in the mountains in France. So nothing. I'll be really happy next year to hopefully get into some live events. And
Awesome.
And for your guests, I do have a little gift here.
Oh,
because
awesome.
I think
I like this.
so I think what's really important is what I've seen over and over is the hardest thing for people is the content piece. And because of that, last month I launched a club, and this club is called From Follower to Leader. And it's a monthly membership that I wanted to create the most affordable form of like group coaching that I could, where we only talk about content. So there's monthly masterminds. There's the same idea with a lot of curriculum that they have access to 24/7. And I really feel like that's the thing that isn't quick or easy. So this is an ongoing club, but people do prepay for 12 months if they want. So I have people who right away were like, oh yeah, I'll totally be in your club for 12 months because it's affordable and it's sounds like a really good idea. Because content is a long game. It really is. And so what I just wanted to share with you is some of my best content tips. So if you go to kristamillon.com/content tips, you can download a cheat sheet. And this cheat sheet is part of my program From Follower to Leader. It's just a very quick sample of like stuff that we talk about in the club. But I really think it's helpful when you produce content to ask this one question. And the question is, so what? So read everything you've written, and after everything you write, ask yourself, so what? And what that does is it forces you to elaborate and go deeper. So I'm always pushing people to go one level deeper, because obviously the most value comes from the meat of a subject, right? So you want to go, we don't want to stay up here high level, because otherwise we're saying the same things. And then like I'm a marketer, other marketers are going to be saying the same things. So to go deep, ask yourself, so what? And that checklist that I just shared, the content tip checklist, it's something that you can just have handy when you're writing, and it will push you a little bit to go deeper in your content. But in my club, the idea is we're doing also content reviews. So we're kind of like, whoever wants to come forward and share their content, and then people can give feedback or interpret. It's really fun. So hopefully I'm going to be growing that. So in 2022, my goal is to grow that club a lot bigger, because I just launched it last month. So it's brand new.
Congratulations.
If anyone wants to find out about it, you just go to kristamillon.com From Follower to Leader. Let me put that in the chat. Hold on.
Very cool. Well, thank you, Krista.
I'd love to hang out with you guys more on LinkedIn. I love your show. Big fan.
Thank
you guys are doing a great job.
You are as well. I've been watching some of your lives as well and learning a lot through them. So yes. Thank you, Krista. Jim, this has been a great show. What do you think?
Absolutely. It's been really great, and hope that Krista gets to enjoy the rest of her evening in France. And it just sounds neat to have mountains all around you. I'm sure it's very peaceful at times.
It really is beautiful. If you guys ever want to take a vacation, come here. It's a lot like Colorado, I feel.
Very cool.
But with better food. I'm not going to lie. French food is pretty good.
All right. Well, thank you, Krista. Thank you, Jim. Thank you, everyone who tuned in this week. And we'll see you next week for another. Bye. We'll see you next week.
Oh, no. I did the wrong. Hold on.
Yes.
Is that the wrong link? I guess there's no dashes in there. Mama. What is it, honey? Yeah, don't do that. She's always getting into mischief, kids, right?
That's right.
Yeah. So we'll put the From Follower to Leader link in the comments, so you guys can go over there and check out all that Krista is up to. Thank you all for tuning in. We'll see you next week for another episode of the Tim and Jim Show. Bye.
Thank you.